Magic has a special power to attract mediocrity. Magic is the only art where you can lie about your talent.
Today's guest is not just a magician, he's a pioneer, an innovator, and one of the most influential figures in the world of magic. From groundbreaking television shows seen by millions to countless live performances that push the limits of what we think is possible, he has continually redefined the art of magic. He's an award-winning performer and the proud ambassador of magic on the global stage. Let's welcome to the Magic Inside podcast the legendary Luís de Matos. Thank you so much, Luís, for coming.
Thank you. Bom dia, boa tarde.
Exactly. We are going to speak in English,
yes,
right?
Yes, the best I can. I doesn't speak very many, but I will do the best from what I are. Thank you for the introduction. Very generous, very generous. I almost believed it.
It's the truth.
I almost believed it.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure because I follow your work since I'm really very young. You have influenced a lot of magicians and it's amazing because what you have done, you are from Portugal, one of the smallest countries in the world. And what you have accomplished is absolutely amazing because I think you are larger than life. You have done so much. It's amazing. And you started TV when I was just 4 years old in 1990. And in 1995, the world's greatest magic, you have performed there. I remember you record like a VHS tape and you sent to the US. How did that turn out? Because it was amazing.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and not because it's a tradition on podcasts and conversations and TV shows, because usually the host greets the guest, and then the guest is no, you are amazing, no, you are amazing. But yes, you are amazing, and I think I'm an admirer of what you have accomplished and the standard that you were able to bring to this business with your enterprise, and we all should be thankful for that. Now, it's funny that you start with the story of the world's greatest magic, which was very, very important for me. Did not start like that. I did not send a tape to the United States.
Okay.
It's a bit of a horror story. It's a bit of a gossip. But for the first time, I will make it public.
Okay.
And it will involve names. Not all the names will be mentioned with kindness. Or yes, I will mention them, but people will realize that those people will not like to be mentioned.
Okay, they are alive. So
they are alive.
Okay.
They are alive. But at the end of the day, it's thanks to that person that I was able to be there and that we are talking about. So in a way, I should thank that person that did not behave very well. Okay. So back into 1994, I was recording here in the north of Portugal. I was recording a TV series called Noite Mágica com Luís de Matos. And this is interesting because when you look at all the TV series, or maybe 300 television shows in multiple series, it's interesting because, and it's why I know exactly what is the name, it's because when I started, no one knew my name, and so therefore the name of the series would also not reflect my name, and then slowly my name was part of the title, till a time there it was the only title with a little word at the end. But back then, in 1994, I was doing this show called Noite Mágica, which would be Magic Night. It was a key TV series in my professional career, and I think also for magic in Portugal, because it was the first time ever that a magic show reached the Saturday night prime time slot. So this was 26 episodes, 26 45-minute episodes with a live band and 200 people in the audience on a huge studio. And it was the consequence of many, many other TV series that every time we did a new one, it was with a little bit bigger budget, a little bit bigger studio, a little bit better time slot. And from the beginning, I always considered that if I want to show the audience that was not very, that was not usually exposed to good magic, I think the only way to take this mission and to battle for recognition from the audience towards magic and myself was to create the conditions so everyone, the general public, the lay audience, if they would be exposed to the best magicians in the world. So, from very, very beginning, I always tried to have amazing guests, magicians that I admire, and would be crazy enough to say yes. So that's why on the very, very first TV series, I have people that end up being very important in my life, like Tommy Wonder was always in every TV series I've done because he was there at the beginning. And the first time he came to do my TV show, the fee that he got was not enough to pay for the flight. And it still came.
Wow.
And we became close friends. And every TV series I have done, I always included Tommy till he passed away. And the reason being that he was one of my good, dear, close friends that understood that the job we were doing takes time. And every time I have a new TV series, I would always bring Tommy back because it's a way of him to see our child grow. Because now there's a little bit more money. And because now it's a better time slot. And we stay at a better hotel. And we have more cameras. And I wanted the people that were with me at the beginning and said yes to this kid that was challenging them for something that didn't even sound right.
That believed in you, yeah.
I want them to see what together we were building. So on that, going back to that TV series in '94, one of the amazing acts was James DeMare. And James DeMare, I have two stories. None of them are nice stories.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. But it's thanks to James that I did World's Greatest Magic. Okay. So I need to, out of honesty, I need to leave that clear. Well, not just James, also Jim Steinmeier. But I don't want to give any spoilers. So he did the recording. He did a TV show. There was one story which, I mean, I should not waste the time of your viewers and the time of this podcast. But it's a story. Whenever you want to tell me to tell the story, I can tell it to you. There's a title to that story, and the title is "Time is Money," and those who know. Anyway, so James, I was 24 years old. At the end of the recording, we went out at night, and James said, "Oh, I really love your walking through the mirror illusion, and I would like to build one, but I will do it completely different. I'm going to do it in Art Deco style," and he described me this completely this absolute vision that he had. And I said, "Sure, this is 1994. I don't know better. I think I am kind and generous. I take pleasure out of being generous. I take so much pleasure for being generous that becomes almost selfishness." And I gave him a tape, the recording of me doing the trick. Okay. I never hear anything back. Later, in 1995, I got this phone call and fax. It's this thing that would print on a paper. Anyway.
Yes.
And I get this from the production of The World's Greatest Magic. I cannot believe. Okay. They found out about me. They want me to go there, and they want me to do the Walking Through the Mirror illusion on the stage of the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas for NBC station.
Why not?
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Okay. Now, everything goes well. We go. I became close friends. Another important person in my life, unfortunately, passed away, which was Gary Ouellette. Gary Ouellette was the producer, the co-producer, along with Gary Pudney, directed by Kent Weed. And we became very good friends. It was instant connection with us. And that instant connection then grew immensely. And that's why probably every day of my life I remember Gary. So once we are on this, the recording is over, it's during the night, we are somewhere in the bar, exchanging card moves. More than exchanging, I'm learning. I have very little to exchange, but okay. For some reason, he liked me. Okay,
You clicked.
and then comes the moment where he tells me, and then I say, I don't know if that night, the following night, I say, how did you hear about me? Because this is pre-internet. There was no, there's no internet, no YouTube, no, we had 4 channels in Portugal.
29 years ago, I think. 29 years ago. Yeah.
So, and they go, how did you hear about me? Oh, and he smiled. And he told me the story. And the story, in short, is when he was doing World's Greatest Magic 1, many magicians found out and tried to be booked at the World's Greatest Magic, naturally. And many magicians ask for meetings, and many magicians send in tapes and all of this stuff. And apparently, James Demare was one of the persons that wanted to go on the show, which I think he did. I don't know with the Dove. I'm not sure, but I would expect yes. I don't know. I don't care. But the truth is that he was supposed to have a meeting, and he explained why he wanted the meeting. He explained, Gary said, look, and these are the words that Gary told me. James Demare told me that he has the exclusive world rights for a walking through the mirror illusion that I will see a kid doing on this tape.
Wow.
Which is different.
What was our reaction?
Okay, it's a bit stretch, okay? But there's one day they are having a meeting there, and there, next to Gary was Jim Steinmeier. And at Caesars Palace, down comes a production assistant that says, Mr. Ouellette, Mr. Demare is here to see you. And Gary goes, oh, yes, right. Okay. And he talks to Jim Steinmeier and says, he talks to Jim and says, Jim, this James Demare tells me that he has exclusive rights for this walking through the mirror. Is it yours, the illusion walking through the mirror? And Steinmeier says, is it the one that Doug and David did, or is one where there are 2 holes on the mirror? And Gary says, oh yeah, so no, it's one with 2 holes. And Steinmeier says, oh, that's not mine. That's from a kid in Portugal called Luís de Matos. So what do you mean James Demare will perform it? You should hire the kid to come and do it. And Gary says, yeah, why should I have him? You have the contact of these guys? And Steinmeier said, I don't have, but Mike Caveney is his good friend. So I'm sure I can get it, you can get it, or me or you can get it from Mike. And this is how I got on The World's Greatest Magic.
Oh.
Thanks to James Demare, not for the good reasons.
That's amazing how people behave, right? I mean, why should someone see... You were like 21 at the time or something?
24.
24. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now everyone will know.
It's a good story.
The real story. Talking about walking through a mirror, because I love the illusion. I mean, it's so visual. How did you come up with it? It was an inspiration from...
I know it. I know exactly. It came up in a very unconventional way.
Mm-hmm.
So my very, very, very first TV series was 10 shows of 25 minutes that were aired on Wednesdays morning, and the show where it was recorded, the studio where it was recorded, was approximately no bigger than 2 times this room where we are now. Mm-hmm. I think 25 people in the audience. And yes, with guests, with Tommy Wonder and Topper Martin and Johnny Lone and Dick Cornwinder and Tamaris, you name it.
Yes.
But when I had this opportunity to do these 10 shows on Wednesday mornings, I look, what are the tricks I'm going to do? I have no clue. So I need to come up with guests, because I told this is a show, this is my vision. There are 3 sets: parlor, close-up, stage. It's me and audience. It's me, but I will also bring guests in this show. Okay, but now I need to decide what tricks am I going to do. Mm-hmm. I am 21 years old. I don't know better, but I do the best I can with what I have.
Of course.
I don't have much, but so I start filling up, making on an Excel. I always have been passionate by Excel. My life runs on an Excel. I do everything on Excel, from designing...
Even backdrops and...
Right. From designing sets to analyzing statistics on ticket sales. Or my calendar is Excel. I don't use any pre-programmed calendar. Because I never found one that answers so well to my needs as Excel. Not that I'm obsessed with it. Anyway, so, and I realized that, okay, this is a good trick to start. And back then, I was doing all of this with my good friend Paulino, which is sitting here. And I would take the train and go to Zamora and spend Friday night and Saturday and Sunday in Zamora, and then taking the train overnight and arriving in Coimbra, going directly to the university. And we say, okay, what tricks do I have? What do you have? What can we do here? And we look for variety. We look for lots of things, but also we need to finish with something bigger than we started with. That's how we thought back then. And I remember that from the 10 shows, I was missing one ending. But I had the beginning. The beginning was this small mirror that a silk go through, and the mirror kind of swallows the silk.
Yes.
So I had the beginning, cool beginning. Oh, I was so happy with that trick. Oh, this is good. But then I had no finish for and then I don't remember, we were the guests, so it was the close-up piece I was doing. I need a finish. I have no idea what to finish. And back then I was already working at university, at the Escola Superior de Coimbra. And I have an office which, a little bit like the studio, was almost 2 times this space. Mm-hmm. And if it was in this direction, my station was here. It was a meeting room when people come to join me. And at the end was a big door at the microbiology department. And there was a big door. And at lunchtime, I would stay looking at the big door and thinking about my Excel, what tricks, And I always remember, many, many, many years ago, I heard Paul Daniels saying, if you want to come up with something new, you take something big and make it small. Or you take something small and make it big. And okay, yeah, I have this small, maybe I can make it big. Okay, yeah, let's try this route. So the size of the mirror, both the one that was originally built, like the one that still today is worldwide distributed by Bill Schmelk at Wellington Enterprises, United States, they all have the exact dimension. No one knows this, but I know. They all have the exact dimension of that door of my office back in the 90s. Okay. Because I had the idea of how to do. I knew it need to look the same. So that was the starting point, but now big. So it's a connection with the beginning of the show. Ooh, so clever. And then I with tape, with the electric tape, I designed the mirror on the back of the big door to my office. And I try, okay, is it physically possible to do the sneaky part? What is the excuse? How can I have a convincer that I'm there and I'm, the arms? Oh, okay. How about the angles? Oh, we can cover like this. So the prototype was the interior of my office at university with the electric tape, designing everything there. And then I designed it in Excel, of course. And back then at the RTP Porto, they had an amazing carpentry department. So I sent the design and they build it. It weighs, I don't know. It does not weigh a ton, but
it does not move.
But
right?
one person cannot move it, cannot lift it, because it's real thick mirror on mahogany wood.
Okay.
Okay.
So
with iron winges. What do you say? Hinges and together, all that, and things to hold, and all of that.
Okay.
I still have that mirror because at the end of the series, I stole it from the television station.
Okay.
I stole it for 2 reasons, or 3. First, it was useless for them, and I left them with more space. Second, I didn't want the secret to go public just because it would be there and say, oh yeah, this is what Luís de Matos used to cause it.
Exactly.
And second, because I am emotionally attached to that trick that I came up with so many years ago. That's the origin of the walking through the mirror.
Very nice, very nice. And it's all by, by Wellington Enterprises, I know.
Yeah.
They are the exclusive builder of that one.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know the method exactly. I've seen it, but I don't know exactly how it works. You need to tell me when after we finish the.
Okay.
Why magic is an art form? Why do you think that magic isn't taught in public schools? Because music is taught in public schools and dance, but not magic. I think there's only one real school. I don't know if it's. Where is it exactly? But normally, it's not taught in public schools. Do you think that will change someday? And people will start to see it more as an art form?
I would like to say yes. I'm convinced no. But I would love it to be yes. I'm convinced that will never happen. Well, that takes us down another route. But but I can try to be brief. I can try. I will not succeed.
No, we have time. So no
problem. I think the problem of magic relies on us magicians. Magic has lots of things against it, which makes it very hard to take magic to places that request a different attitude, a different knowledge, and above all, a different perception of what magic is. And the proof that we have not been behaving really well as magicians, as in general, myself included. I'm not speaking of the community as I'm not part of it. I am part of this community. I love magic, but the fact that we love something or someone does not mean necessarily that we become blind to the errors and mistakes and wrong characteristics. I love magic. I love my life. I'm part of this group, which I think is the sole responsible for what you say, But before that, there's so many other things that we need to accomplish first. And it doesn't look like we are going to accomplish them anytime soon. I give you an example. Magic allegedly was, there's the proof of the Papiro of the West car, they say, I cannot read it, but that's what I'm told, that magic was first performed in a stage and with the audience and the stage environment, although one spectator, one magician, but it was that, roughly 2,500 years ago, which makes us roughly at 5,000 years of history around magic. And we know what is the consideration, or the lack of it, that the biggest part, the biggest majority of the population in every country around the world has towards magic. I think it's our fault. Why is it our fault? Well, I'll give an example that can illustrate what I'm going to say next. One of us, a magician, a few years ago, because compared with 5,000 years, I can say a few years ago, invented cinema. Mm-hmm. Georges Méliès was a magician, was the technician of Robert Houdin, and had the idea of doing something more with that filming machine that the Lumière brothers used to put in front of a train and catch the train coming to the lens, or put it on the floor and capture the people coming out of the factory. Georges Méliès had this vision of telling stories. So a magician, one of us, invented cinema. He was the first director, the first producer, the first actor. He did color movies before Technicolor. He wrote the argument. He made the sets, all of that. He built a studio, the most amazing studio, a glass house with light, with natural light, all of that. And he did over 800 movies. Well, that was the beginning. That's why in the Père Lachaise cemetery in Paris, where he is, his remainings are, he says Georges Méliès, the father of spectacle cinematographic, or the cinematographic, I don't know if that's the right way, spectacle. So he was inventor of cinema. And look, if we take 5,000 years ago of magic and you try to analyze the evolution curve of magic itself, but also the way it is perceived, you will see that this line is almost a parallel flat line to the zero axis, to the zero line. It's a very, it moves a little bit, compared with the evolution curve of cinema, which is completely exponential. It goes, and it's there. How come something that one of us created, it's much more popular than what we do, much more respected than what we do, involving much more resources than what we do, mobilizing people much more than what we do? Well, and this is the reason why I think it's going to be very hard to arrive there, why I think, the same way I have reserves when we say, oh, magic is an art form. Well, it is sometimes. Most part of times is not.
Depends on,
but that's the same with music.
With everything, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think our game is rigged and we don't change that. Well, first of all, because magic has a special power to attract mediocrity. Again, I am part of that group. Because, like me, when someone proved that is completely useless to sing, completely useless to paint, completely useless to play football, completely useless to write a romance, there's still hope. At least you can become a magician. Oh, thank God I can be something. It's my case. I tried lots of things. I'm completely useless. But I found comfort in magic. And in general, when we look at magic as a whole, and I don't want to insult anyone because I am part of this group, but because this conversation is basically for magicians, it's a great opportunity. I think it might be one of the first ever times that I have a conversation that is not for the general public, but although it's available, it's going to be mostly watched by magicians.
Of course.
I think we attract mediocrity because of that, because many years ago, I came to a conclusion. Magic is the only art where you can lie about your talent. You can have absolutely zero talent. You can be a magician, even a professional, even a famous one. And you can have zero talent. It's the only art where you can lie about your talent. You cannot lie about singing, because you start singing and I say, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. You say, oh, I'm a great caricaturist. And you start doing it and you go, oh, yeah, you are. Well, congratulations. Yeah. Thank you. And I leave.
But not with magic.
But right? With magic, no. Because any trick, even wrongly performed, will make you famous. Maybe at the coffee shop, maybe at the street. Because, again, we cannot win. I'll give you the example. If we do a tenure trick, amazing tenure trick, which of course we will never say to our audience that was not invented by us. Come on.
Yes.
If we do a simple trick and it's successful, the audience is going to be impressed. The person and that person is going to tell the friends, "Oh, you should see. This guy did this, man. He put the cigarette cut in three, and then he put the three pieces there in like, and then the cigarette is in whole again, in a unique one, a brand new. Oh, really?" So the fame starts building based on something that was unexplainable, beautiful to watch, and well performed. But if the same trick is wrongly performed, this magician will also get good fame. Because that's the human nature. That's the human of when we tell stories. In general, we like to tell stories where we look good. Usually we do not tell stories where we look stupid. Mm-hmm. And this is valid to all humankind. So, if a spectator watches a wrongly performed trick that exposes the secret, the spectator is going to, aha, I know it's done. Maybe might even say it, and maybe he will not be amazed. But this spectator will tell the story in a completely different way. This spectator, consider that we tell stories where we look good in general. This spectator will tell the story to the friends in the following way. He will say, "Oh, you should have seen Luís doing this trick. Oh, incredible. He put the cigarette cut in three and then it was in there again." Of course, I am very smart and I think I know it's done. But that's because I really look into the details and I have this attention that I cannot be fooled because... and now they start telling how good they are. Mm-hmm. But in order for them to sell how attentive they are and how clever they are, they need to say that the trick I have done is amazing. So for their selfishness of telling that they are very smart, they need to sell this story as an amazing thing. It's an amazing trick, which was simply badly performed. Mm-hmm. This is one of the problems. So
anyone can be an instant magician, basically.
Yes, and there is a final thing, which is a very sensitive question that I don't have a solution for, which is our applause. It's not because we are, in general, not because we are good or skillful or creative or elegant or no. Our applause in 80% of the times, it's because we have a piece of information that no one has. And then they clap. It's the secret. Now, the first thing I say is that if I know a secret about your private life, João Miranda, and I know. No, I'm not.
Perhaps you do.
if I know a secret about your life, and I go into a theater or a bar or and I say, ladies and gentlemen, I know a secret about João Miranda. No one will start clapping, right?
Right.
But the fact that they don't know that I have the piece of information of how the trick is done, although I only press a button or I just point or I go, ta-da, people clap. And the reason why they clap is because I know there's a mirror there and they don't. And this is completely different from other art forms. For example, if I would have never had enough curiosity to know how a grand piano works, and if I go to see these Portuguese virtuoso guys like Pedro Mestre, Pedro Brunhosa, Mário Lajinha, and I never saw a grand piano, I will not think they are great. I look at it and say, how come this piece of wood, how come from the inside they're coming out this amazing sounds, this amazing melody that creates emotion, that creates happiness, that makes me smile or dream or have a more introspective feeling, affects me emotion-wise. If I don't know how it works, I will feel those emotions probably, but I will not credit it on the account of the composer or the interpreter, one of them, or the same person in some cases. Now, because I know that the way it works, I know it's keys that activate hammers, that touch on strings that are longer and shorter, stretch in such a way, and then when they vibrate, because of the shape of that piece of furniture, it creates all of that. So I know how it works. I even try to play, and I'm useless. So now when I see Pedro Brunhosa, Mário Lajinha, Pedro Mestre playing the piano, I go, wow, this guy is an artist. This guy is a virtuoso. This guy, wow, look the way he performs, or look at this melody that he composed. Look how he plays. And this is incredible. And here, I'm not admiring the fact that he has a piece of information that I don't have.
Right.
I'm admiring
by his skill,
his creativity, his performance, everything. So, in the past, to people that are not magicians, but when it comes to friends of mine or people I respect, that for some reason I do a moment in the show that for some reason the methodology has something to do with their area, where it is technology, where it is a woodworker, a carpenter, where it is an internet guy, where it is a guy that printing, whatever area. They come to the show, they love the show, and then because I trust them, and because I only do this when it's things that we create or we build, I bring him backstage and I explain how the trick is done.
You do.
I explain. And on that moment, it's my only way of explaining to people that are not from our area. Because on that moment, I see now they have a reason to admire what they saw.
Okay.
Not because they don't know how it's done, which is enough for a good clap. But now they go, wow. And they say stuff like, how do you think about these things? Yes, I know, but still, you need to do this and that and that. How come can you do that under our eyes? Oh my God. Oh, and for this to work, you built 78 prototypes? Wow, incredible. And suddenly, I'm in peace with the admiration, because now they have a true reason to admire me, to applaud that moment that goes beyond the simple fact that it's because I know the secret and you don't.
But I mean, but you cannot. I mean, if you reveal to the audience during your show, right? I think that it's tough because I think that's one of the main issues with magic, right? Do you think it's only the secret? People just clap for the secret. Perhaps they do. They don't see the other thing. I've never thought about that.
I said that I don't have a solution for this problem, but we all hear from the beginning that you cannot kill the surprise, you cannot reveal the trick. So, if the surprise and the trick is the most important thing in our lives, is to make boo when you don't expect the surprise, and it's to hide the secret. So I get the applause. If these are the two most important things, I think something is missing here. I don't have the solution, okay? But I do know that people can be exposed to a secret and still applaud in the same way. I give you an example. For 10 years, I was on this Spanish TV show, Friday night, for 10 years.
Chalacabula, no?
No, Luar. For 10 years, 10 consecutive years, never repeating a routine. And the first 4 years, I would do 2 or 3 spots in each show. And from the beginning of the 10 years till the end of the 10 years, I was either I was either doing the gold minute on the ratings, or I was contributing for the raise of the average rate there.
10 years, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Only stopping on summer. So I need to create, research, sometimes not be very proud of what I'm doing there this week. Sometimes a few days before, I have no idea what I'm going to do, and we do these emergency meetings and we need to hammer something. Yes, it happened. But I'm saying that I would be doing from card in orange, where people select from 500 oranges, with people calling, they select the orange from 500 oranges. Yes, for those of you asking, they could choose any orange. All of them were ready, thanks to Gate and Bloom. Or doing the water cell escape, the water torture cell escape. So it was, or doing firewalking, or doing ambitious card. But yeah, 10 years. Now, one of the times close to Christmas, what I would do is that I would start anticipating the suffering. And I say, okay, let's just work on these 10 routines, because 10 routines it's less than 3 months, so we need to work on them constantly. And one of the routines I was working was the floating ball. And because I had time to work on that, I set up challenges for my approach of the floating ball. Because I set up challenges, like I wanted to come up with a new rig that would allow movements that were not possible with any of the known rigs till that day. Mm-hmm. So I also put a condition that needs to be no assistance, need to be set up in less than a minute. I put, every time I dedicate time to a new project like this, a new routine, a new illusion, a new whatever, I set the goals. Needs to be this and this and this and this and this. I don't fulfill them all the time, but by setting them up, immediately it's halfway to achieve them. Mm-hmm. So I worked on this, and I was ready to perform my version with my rig. And in a moment, it's going to come very important that I say my rig. And I will do it on TV. Well, it's live TV. And anyone that have worked enough on TV will know that if you do thread work, I'm not talking about loops and close-up thread. I'm talking about stage thread. If you do thread work, there is no way that the thread is going to be invisible for the audience and for the people at home without you paying a big price. the big price is, if you want it to look great on TV, it's going to be lit in such a way that is based on TV, in such a way that looks very harmless, innocent, naive, and the thread is going to be invisible for people at home, but people in the studio will see it. If you decide, because there's an audience, if you decide to light it for the people in the studio, the price is that it's going to be very, very dark on television. So it's not going to look good. Well, if you think about this problem, you will need to choose. You want it to be perfect for the audience and the studio, or perfect for people at home. Well, anyone that would dedicate 20 seconds of thinking and reasoning will come to the conclusion that it's best, that it looks amazing for millions of people,
than 100
instead
people.
of 100, 200 people there. So during the rehearsal, we light it so it looks like $1 million on TV. And it did, and it's live. But now I have this problem, which is the 200 people in the audience, they are going to see every little piece of thread involved.
Okay.
So, and I'm okay because I'm not exposing anyone's trick. That's why I said it's my rig. It's the rig I create and design. So I can do whatever I want with it. Now, I need to find a way to try to still get the admiration of these people, because I have a problem. It's live TV show. We cannot fix it in editing. So imagine if the audience is there and sees me moving my hands and the ball, and they see all the mechanics, why should they clap?
And they did, right? I think.
What is the thing? The other thing is that they will be looking and say, "Oh, it's Luís is a magician," and I can see. So on the audience shots, you will see someone going, which is not great for people at home to see.
Right.
So I have this. I need to manage all this in advance. So what I've done is I came up with this idea, which was minutes before the start of the show. It's a huge studio. Huge. And half is audience, half is different sets. So before the start of the show, I went to the sound guy and said, I want my microphone, please leave it on. And I asked permission to the director, and I took a huge puppet that I have. It's this high, the puppet. It's a fluffy, super cute thing. And with nylon threads and that cross in wood. And I say, if this is the studio, I start next to the wall playing with my puppet, and then I walk, and by the corner of my eye, I see that a few people start, because the puppet is very cute. You cannot avoid looking at it.
Okay.
And the puppet looks at me, and it's this high. The head comes to here, the body is here, and it looks high. And we walk, and they go, and I see more and more people are looking at me, and I ignore the audience. They are eating the sandwich before the 4 hours live show. When I arrive to the center, I already captured the attention of everyone. They don't know what's going on. Why is he playing with a puppet? It's fluffy. It's fluffy. It's cute. But what is happening? And as I arrive the center, the middle of the several stages, and I have the full attention of 200 people, which I don't look at, I drop the piece of wood, and with my feet, I smash the head of the puppet.
Okay.
And the entire room went, oh. My mic was on. I look at them and I said, exactly. So, look what happened just here. You saw me playing with this piece of cloth. This is not a real animal. It's a piece of cloth. The eyes are painted. It's a piece of thread. I'm holding with the stick. And just because I make this and make it look at me and I smile back and I do coochie coochie coochie, suddenly now when I apparently smash this face, his head, you go, oh, you feel sorry for a piece of fluffy cloth?
And the children crying in the lot.
Well, there's no children in that audience.
Okay.
But anyway. And then I say, look, I understand what happened. What happened is that by looking at me, you were able to forget about the threads, forget about the fact that it's a piece of cloth, and you bought into the story and the emotion of this relationship of me and the fluffy puppet. Well, later tonight in the show, I am going to do the same thing. Instead of a puppet, I'm going to use a mirror ball. And you are going to see some of the threads like you saw here. Well, they don't see some, they saw everything. You will see some threads. One thing I want to tell you is that, like the puppet, it's going to be me alone controlling that different puppet, which is going to look like a ball. Okay? So if you can, try and forget about the threads and remember that is this relationship between me and an object, like between me and this piece of cloth. Thank you. Have a great show.
Okay.
Now comes the moment in the show. I do the floating ball. Looks great on TV. I get a standing ovation.
Wow.
Everybody saw the trick is done.
They did a standing ovation.
But then comes the problem. Is that none of my friends were there to see the story, to see this happening, only my team. So when later, so I tell this story to my good friend David Britland, one of the most knowledgeable, amazing magicians and human beings that I am incredibly lucky to be considered his friend by him, as much as I consider him my friend. So I tell the story. And David said, oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, right. It must have been very nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay. Of course, David was not there. Of course, I'm telling this story, but he never witnessed it. Now, we jump to 2017. I'm doing this TV series, Saturday night, live from our own studios, from Studio 33, with 200 people in the audience, Channel 1, public station, Saturday night, 1 hour. 100% live, except for the David Copperfield segments and the Luís Piedrahita segments, 3 minutes each, because they were pre-recorded. With David in Las Vegas and with Piedrahita at the Coimbra University because of the what they were. Now I have the same problem, but David is one of my magic consultants and he is in the control room at the studio. Mm-hmm. And that day I'm going to do the floating ball. I have the same problem. So I know how to fix it.
Right. You did the same thing.
It's the same thing. And again, the audience goes, oh! And I could see David's face. And David's face was something like, oh, now I understand what you told me. And then when we talked, David said his expression was something like, the reaction of the audience sounded like you just told them that the President of the Republic died on a tragic car accident. Okay. That's how intense it is. Yes, later in the show, I did the floating ball. They saw everything. They clapped. They enjoyed it. We can see in their eyes, they didn't did this. They understand.
It's very strange, right? I mean, so you think people enjoy more the secret than not knowing how it's done?
I don't know. I think I would love that in magic would be possible to create a think tank that would address the fundamental questions that I don't think were never addressed, at least in a strategic way, in an orchestrated way, that could definitely change the way magic is perceived, respected, all of these things. Mm-hmm. Because eventually, if there is a think tank and a strategic view that is formed by a group of people that are not just worried with their careers, but eventually worried with the way they will leave magic when they are gone. And leaving, I think there are two goals that we should have. At least those are the goals I have. So that's normal that I think those should be the two goals. Everything I have done in magic has to tick two boxes. One is naturally needs to be good for Luís de Matos. Needs to be the best I can, needs to be whatever I think is the best thing, needs to make a difference. But by trying to make a difference, you can either just go through the previous paths or the previous or go on the same footsteps that are marked on the floor, or you can try to create a new way. And creating a new way is, for example, putting magic on places that magic was never before. So whenever I can do both at the same time, which is creating the precedent to put magic where it was never before, it fulfills my desire. Because when I'm gone, it's not important my career, but might be important the doors we left open. And examples where I ticked those two boxes was the inauguration of the Dragão Stadium for 52,000 persons. We ticked some boxes there that showed that magic can be good for inaugurating a stadium. Or when my one-man show was programmed for 3 weeks at the National Theatre. You never heard about a magic show on a national theatre. I never heard of it. Definitely not in Portugal, maybe somewhere in the world. I don't know. I would love to know. But I do know is that before this show, there was never a magic show on a national theatre. There was never a primetime Saturday night TV series. It creates the precedent. It creates that, it's not stupid to think that anymore because it has been done before. The same thing with a live TV show. Our last TV series was 100% direct, 100% live broadcast, because I think that was the only way to try to regain the trust of the audience. And that's why each show I would start by saying, "Good evening and welcome. What you are about to see did not happen yet." And this is the entire idea. Is like we are on the same page. This is live. There is no editing. There is no cutting. I'm exposing myself to the ridiculous. If I fail, that's what I give you, audience, in return of you giving me your time and attention. So there is real jeopardy, and there is a real giving and receiving experience, because I'm exposing myself to do this live on national TV on a Saturday night. Now, the reason why I think that audience completely lost its credibility on TV, it's because David Blaine completely changed the way TV is done. He came in with a beautiful, completely original idea that was there all the time, available for everyone to do. All of us could have had that idea. None of us did. He did.
Right.
He scored. That's his merit. Thank you, David, for coming up with something completely groundbreaking and new. Now, again, what happens in our community is that everyone copies the model. And they realize that it's cheap. I just need to buy a camera or two and a microphone, and I can go to the street and record tricks. And I can do miracles because, for example, a good effect is I have one card, and someone comes to me in the street and says, "Excuse me, can you tell me any card in the deck?" And they go, 3 of spades. Bam! 3 of spades. This is what people see at home.
Exactly.
What they do not know is that this poor soul has been there 3 days, and they went through 500 cards till he found a guy that would say 3 of spades, and he had 3 of spades. But the fame and glory of those 25 seconds on TV, it's unbeatable. I'm holding a card. Guy comes on the street. Tell me a card, 3 of spades. Bam, 3 of spades. Also, reactions were very important. So we see lots of these shows. We are very cheap to produce. Very cheap to produce. They don't need talent. They just copy a model. What David Blaine did was incredible. But then you saw like mushrooms everywhere in the world. This shows that it was a fashion, and good for them. People made money. People became famous. People saw magic on TV, and that's great. I defend that all magic is good for magic, even the bad magic.
Even the bad one.
Even the bad magic.
Okay.
And I can tell you in a moment why bad magic is equally important. So that's why I say, yeah, everybody go do TV, go do live shows. Doesn't matter if it is good or bad. All is good for magic. I can tell you why. It's very simple. It's because it creates criteria. Now
People can see what
now
they
I
like
can
and
see
what they
I
don't
like and what I don't like.
Exactly.
I'm completely ignorant in heavy metal, so I see no difference between Kiss and Metallica. I'm ignorant in opera, and I don't understand Italian, so I cannot compare. I see opera and say, "Oh, this is great." If I see lots, I will start saying, "Usually, what these guys do is always incredible. I like these guys. Usually, what these guys do, it's always shit. I don't think I'm going to see it anymore."
Right.
But that's because I was exposed to the good and bad many times.
Exactly.
Okay? So that's why I think all magic, even bad, is good for magic.
That's very interesting.
Now, this was, I don't remember what I was talking about. I was, okay, I guess I answered. I don't know.
You answered it all.
Did I answer? Okay, good. I don't know what is the answer.
Yeah, you were talking about David Lane and the street magic and the
Amazing,
mushrooms.
and the reason why we did live. Okay.
Yes.
So the reason, if people value, I think people always consider that when it's like as magicians. I remember in the 80s and in the 90s when us magicians would see the David Copperfield specials, when we had no clue how the trick was done. In order to feel relaxed and in peace with ourselves, we would say, yeah, but that's a camera trick.
Just to...
Yeah. Just because we hate to feel in pain.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, that's a camera trick. And it was not. But yeah, it's a camera trick. Oh yeah, I know how it's done. It's a camera trick. I can sleep now.
Exactly.
And the audience also as a if we train them that the secret is everything, that's what they will consider. That's the secret is everything.
They are not educated, unfortunately, because they see, it's exactly what you said. They see a Svengali deck, for example, which is something that you learn in 2 minutes. And if you tell them, oh, I've been practicing this trick for 6 months, and they'll believe you. That's the thing. So it's a problem with our art, right?
Yeah, someone should figure out a solution. I don't have it.
We need to do another EMC so everyone should come to Ancião and discuss this.
Yeah.
That project was amazing, by the way. I don't have it here, but it was you bring the best magicians in the world, literally.
It was crazy. I mean, it was really nice. It was incredible to see in the total of the 3 years that Marco Tempest, David Britland, my team, and I promised that we would be doing it. It was incredible to see overall almost 80 magicians of that caliber coming to the profound Portugal and giving nothing but their A material. No one was there to sell, to look above, to be considered above the rest. No, they were just there to give back to magic. And that is something uniquely generous, amazing. I think that none of the involved ones from our side would ever forget that. But funny enough, and thanks to those people, I keep being reminded wherever I go in the world, whether I'm signing autographs at the door of the Sydney Opera House in Australia, as there's always two guys, this couple, this group of magicians, and they say, oh, EMC. And for me, this is important because we did it with incredible love. It was Everybody was super involved. Everybody gave the A material. It was completely groundbreaking. It was on a time. I mean, nowadays it's we all know what is streaming, and we are all familiar. We all do it. We all have our own streaming platform. But this, when we announced this, it was 2009. No one knew what the word streaming meant, and I know some of the speakers that came that they said that later they confessed, I did not understand what was going to happen. I just came because I trust you. This is amazing. So it was even hard to explain to the people we were inviting and making together around this table.
It was amazing, right? For you, it should have been overwhelming being surrounded by all of those guys at the same time.
Yeah, it was also frustrating because imagine, so Studio 33 is our home. It's where we go to work every day. So yeah, we know the corners, we know it's our home. We feel as comfortable. I spend more hours at Studio 33 than I'd spend in my home.
Yes.
So, and we all love magic, and we love to speak with these great thinkers and creators and performers.
Of course, yes.
So imagine that in your own home, you have 32 of the people you most admire in the world. They are there. They are there having a coffee. They are there sitting on the couch. I don't have time to stop and talk to them.
It's overwhelming.
So I remember going from one side to the other, and in my mind, I just go, I don't believe this. There's David Burles is sitting there, and David Blaine is here. Oh my God, it's Paul Daniels and Max and David Williamson and Bill Malone. Oh my God, they are all. Oh.
Everyone was there. Everyone.
And then I need to run because I'm needed somewhere else. So it was. In a way, was very painful.
Right, you needed
that was compensated
at least
by
a year.
That was compensated by the joy of doing something that was. We all have that feeling that was being very unique and in a way changing for, I hope, some generations that still can come in contact with that material because it will not go out of fashion. Everything that is taught there. It's fundamental.
It's amazing.
It's the fundamental. I mean, starting there, it's like a university degree.
Right. That's right. Okay, I have so many questions, Luís. So we might be doing like 5 podcasts. I think.
It's a series. I'm sorry.
I think so.
I get carry on.
No.
I try to be more brief from now on. Yes, and no answers from now on.
No. Do you consider, because I don't know the year, I tried to search when you toured in Portugal with the trailer, the big truck, which was beautiful, by the way, all black, it was amazing. I was there, I saw, and you invited me to one stage called the Invisible Deck, and I remember the illusions. You did the Vanishing Flowers,
Walter Zeni.
Yes, and you also did one illusion, which is by the way, are you going to ever tour again with that type of show? Because it's so different. It's so close to the audience, or it's something that's not in our mind.
Well, everything. Well, so for people to know, basically, is on 1 year in 1999, I did 245 shows in 6 months in 40 cities or 40-something cities in Portugal. Basically, we designed a venue, what we call it the mobile theater, or later we call it the space truck, because we need to see the context. And I think everything we do has always to do with the context. That's why it's very hard to take them from this time and space and put them in this time and space. It won't fit. Okay? At that time, I wanted to tour. I had built enough of a personality in Portugal, basically after 1995. So I need to perform. Because people would go if they see me perform. They see me on TV, so they will see me live. But first of all, there was no tradition of theaters hosting magic shows. You would never see a magic show in a theater unless you rent a cheap theater on a village. You will never see them on a major venue. in the center of Lisbon, in the center of Faro, or in the center of Porto. That's the first thing. The second thing is there were not enough rooms. There were not enough venues. There were very old venues in Portugal, falling apart. So I said, okay, if the venues that exist would not take a magic show traditionally, if there are not enough for me to cover the entire territory, I'm going to build one. I'm going to build a mobile one. The idea is not original from me, because Mago Anton in Spain has done it. He call it the Mago Mobile. And so it's very original idea, amazing, and it's from this genius called...
He still does it, I think, nowadays.
Yeah, it's Mago Anton. So I said, okay, I want to do something on this, with this idea. And I asked his permission, and he gave it to me, and I completely built something completely different. It's still a mobile theater. It's still a truck that expands with hydraulics, but once people are inside, they would get the feeling of a real theater, which was different from the Mago Anton. Okay.
Yes.
So back in 1999, there was this truck that would look like a spaceship from Star Wars.
It was amazing.
And the city would wake up with that on the most important plaza. Why the most important plaza? Because by that time, I would at least have the respect of the town halls to say, look, I know you don't have a theater. I know your theater is falling apart, but I have this option. Can I do it on the central plaza? And so we only did it on a landmark places. On beautiful places. And during the night, we assemble everything. And when the city wakes up, it's there. It looks like a spaceship that landed. It doesn't look like a truck at all.
No. It's great.
Nothing.
The design is beautiful.
And so then you go to the ticket office and you buy tickets that come with a barcode. And then you go to the optical reader and you go inside, and there was a merchandise area and the control room and robotic lights and surround sound and rows and like a theater, and the little proscenium and the front curtain and it's all everything in small.
It was so good.
And we would do that show 5 times a day. The show was roughly an hour show, and it was incredible because it was very intimate, but still was we were able to make moments that were in a normal stage would be just normal size, but because it was such intimate, it was 70. It would seat 70 people, or 77 people, I think, and it was very intimate, and people completely forget. Sometimes I went to see this happened 2 or 3 times, that someone saw us having lunch somewhere in this city, and someone go, "Oh, I would love to see your show, but I'm claustrophobic," and I say, "Okay." So, because they see, okay, it's something to see inside, and say, look, let's make this. You are my guest. You come to see the show, and you sit on the last chair of the last row, which is clearly 50 centimeters from the door. Okay, I will reserve it for you. When you come, I show it to you. If you feel comfortable, you sit down. If you don't feel comfortable, you go away. I will not charge you anyway, but I would like you to experience something that apparently, with that problem that you assume you have, which being claustrophobic, I can help on that, because this is a perfect circumstance. In a theater, you are not close to the door.
Of course,
but here you are. So I would
away.
bring this piece. It happened like 2 or 3 times for a period of 6 months. And I would sit and see, look, here you watch the show, okay? And if you stand up and do one, you are outside. Oh, I think I can do it. None of the 2 or 3 people I did this with ever left, and so I was happy with that. It was my personal challenge.
Yes, it was
and I
amazing.
hope they remember as well as I do.
Yes, and you finished that show, and that still sticks to my mind, with one of the best snowstorms in China I've ever seen.
Which I'm using currently.
You are?
Yes.
But the thing is, it was like you were producing snow, and it was towards the audience.
Oh yeah.
A kind of like.
But more than that, it was UV.
Oh, yes, it was. Yes.
So it's interesting.
But it's amazing, because was it hard to come up with that, or
it was by then
it was so magical, because I was really close, and like
So
Slava does that, Slava with the big stage.
Yeah.
But
so the for people to get an idea what happens there, this is a small auditorium, and then yes, I finished with Snowstorm, but at the end there's a blackout, you see the snowstorm because every little piece of paper is UV light, something that I don't know why after all these years, maybe I know, but after all these years did not get copied by anyone. But anyway, so there is this snowstorm, and then the snowstorm, as keeps increasing, goes as a wave through the audience. Okay. And I was not using visibly a Kevin James stool.
Right, exactly. Otherwise, it will shoot up.
But it was thanks to the fact that I bought the Kevin James snow animator that I was able to then create this other method with several streams of air all combined in special angles that would somehow make that thing a massive thing that goes
unbelievable
over the audience. And I decided to bring back that look, that image now on big theaters on the recent years with the Impossível ao Vivo, or Impossible Live, as we will do it next week in Prague.
Oh yes. So it goes towards the audience.
No, it doesn't go towards the audience because it would be very complicated to do that part.
Of course.
But in a way, fills the entire stage, and the first rows get a little bit of it. But again, it's context. It's something that we were able to create for that specific environment and cannot be taken out of context, because now it would be incredible. I would need 150 compressors and studying the airstream in order to create this thing. But back then it worked. I'm happy you remember that.
Yes, I remember. So yeah. So you are not going to tour again ever with that
with that size.
It's not your.
It's difficult. I've done it.
That's it.
Been there, done that. I think it's very important in order for us to give our best, we need to have true enthusiasm.
Yes.
That's when we give our best. And I remember that everything I have done that stayed with me, or that I look back and say, that's interesting. Really? We did that? That's cool. Nice. Because sometimes we get surprised, especially as we look back. And we have the distance of time to go, really? Wow. And almost all the time, the secret is the enthusiasm that fuels the hard work and this inherent need almost to do it the best we can.
Yeah, but it's a lot of hard work, right? When I had Topaz here, he said, when we have this kind of crazy ideas, I mean, the best is the beginning, and then in the middle, it's so much work.
Yeah,
people have no idea. I mean,
no, people have no idea. Normally, and that is another thing. We all get when we see someone like Topaz, which I admire enormously. When you see that it changed modern art into a cajon. Why do we have this feeling that, oh yeah, that's a very cool idea. I think I'll do the same to mine. What? Excuse me. This is so poor. It's becomes sad, because for the amount of energy, talent, creativity, hard work, money, talent, stamina, all of these things, for Topaz to arrive to that streamlined, amazing, beautiful version of Jim Steinmeyer's modern art.
So,
people had no idea. And I don't think people are willing to go through that process.
It's painful.
They just take it, and they believe that no one will know.
Yeah,
they are the ones that lose the most.
Yes, I agree with you. It's a lot of hard, because you have done so much. You are never tired. I mean, because you're always with amazing projects, so innovative. It's the shows, it's the TV shows, and then you have been in Paris in big theaters and throughout the world. You don't wake up and I'll stop a little. I mean, where do you find the energy to accomplish all of either the truck? Where do you find the energy? Your entrepreneurial spirit was born with you. It was something that.
No, I don't think it's. I don't make it. I don't build it. I don't do stuff to be super successful and earn a lot of money. None of those things, which of course happened in some of the projects, none of those things were my priority. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of fun doing what I do. So basically I wake up and I go to the playground. Yes, I need to, there's the dark side of all of this. Yes, I need to pay bills and salaries and fines and taxes and buying stuff and and sometimes on moments that I'm more sad or I'm more disappointed with something, I would go, look, I think having done what we have done so far, I think if I tried, I would have come up with a 9.5 minutes act, which could give me an incredible good life and super peaceful with lots of time to do nothing.
Right.
Yes, there's moments I think that, but at the same time, that would be the horror of my life. So that I know why I went down that route. Might have been for lack of talent, or might have been because I always wanted to get away of that repetition. I like new challenges. I like new ideas. So I go to work as I'm going to play. Is it easy? No, it's not. Because on coming up on the 12th of June, my team will celebrate 30 years together. Now, if you want to think about how difficult this is, and I'm not complaining because it's amazing.
Yes,
I'm always ready. I mean, someone calls me, can we do a show tonight? Yes, we can. And we have everything, lights, sound, material, stage set, and I can do some customized piece for you tonight. So we are always ready, and I don't need to constantly be outsourcing. And my team is the people I admire the most in the world, and I would give everything for them. They are incredibly loyal, incredible good persons, and they will always have everything from me, and anything that depends on me, they will have. But it's not easy because it's one product, it's one clown, and for 30 years, it's 9 families, 10 families. And if you have a pastry shop, you know that in average you sell 10,000 pastéis de nata per month. And if it comes the crisis, well, maybe 8,000. If this is really bad, 5,000. But we'll survive, come on. Well, in our area, I have no idea how I'm going to pay salaries in 3 months from now. But I have no idea. This is not fake. I am 3 months, no, 4 months from now. I don't know. This is true. This is crazy. But it has been like that.
But you don't stop
for 30 years, and I think that also moves me. This idea that your choices, your attitude, what you do, has an impact, either positive or negative, and reflects on a group like the team. It's very, very, very important. And there are bad days at the studio, yes, but in general we have fun. We learn a lot, which is the thing I like most to do, is to learn stuff. Whatever. Some people are, but why do you want to learn that you are never going to use it? Well, that's your perspective. I don't think that science yet discover what's the capacity of our hard drive. So I keep saving files, and they give me a better understanding of things. I don't care of what I'm curious, and I think curiosity is the biggest motor of everything.
Yes.
You need to be curious. You need to know, how is this built? Why does this? Oh yeah, it's based on the old pantograph. Okay, I see. And I love, how was this manufactured? I love that.
Yes.
And it's
very
not
important.
because I'm going to use it anywhere, but the life I chose, or the life that we end up having and sharing, give me that opportunity. So as long as I can, I will exercise that learning.
Yes,
thing.
but it's amazing what you have accomplished. So it's ridiculous. There's not many people that have the career that you have.
They have all much better.
So you are also very famous by performing amazing grand illusions. The way you move on stage, the way you look into the audience. For example, when you perform origami, I've seen many musicians. I also have one, and when I do it, it's not the same the way you do it. And I had some friends, some lay people, some magicians saying something that I don't. It's incorrect. They say, "Oh, to perform a grand illusion, you just need the money to buy because you place the system there, and that's it. The trick is done. You do nothing." And I do not agree with this type of approach because, for example, with origami, which is an amazing illusion invented by Jim Steinmeier, the way you do it is so well. Even when you move, for example, to the top of the table to place the last sword, me doing it or you doing it's different because you do it elegantly. You look into the audience, the way you grab the sword. So, what are in your opinion the key details that a performer should have when performing this type of grand illusions? Because you do it everything so smoothly, so well done.
I think I'm not saying that I reached that level, but I believe that whatever you do on stage needs to be an extension of you. Aesthetically, effect-wise, movement-wise, lighting-wise. Whatever I do, there is an aesthetic that I could not formulate. I could not write a formula because every time I look at something, I look at the available resources and I try to make it mine. I try to make it speak for me. And I think origami is, it's a good example because origami is probably one of the most amazing illusions ever created in the history of magic. But it's very overlooked by magicians. Oh, yeah, he does origami. It's very overlooked for many reasons. First of all, because once the ones that don't perform it, once they know the secret, is not important anymore. Second, because it was released on a time that it was very easy to copy because there was no internet. From the time that something gets copied till the time, and if ever known by the creator, maybe it would be a lifetime. So there are lots of copied origamis.
Yes.
Thankfully, thank God, not anymore, but still you can see them. And I think that origami condenses what is the example of the genius of Jim Steinmeier, which, as I said before, I think is a modern day Robert Houdin. And I think probably it changed more in magic already, more than what Robert Houdin changed. So I don't know if this is a compliment or if it's cutting short a compliment to Jim. But everything is clever in that. It's the little details. And when magicians and builders felt entitled to build one without permission, not only they did not have the permission, they didn't seek to have it, but above all, they didn't understand. They don't understand why that piece works. And because they don't understand, they overlook the details that make it incredible. I take great pride whenever I touch that prop. I pay respect to Jim Steinmeier and to John Gone, because my origami says on the back, built for Luís de Matos by John Gone, 1995. And I still do it nowadays. And it was very funny because we were with Impossible sur scène in Paris for a month at the Folie Bergère, and Norbert Ferré family, mother and brother and sister-in-law and the father, they came to watch it, and of course they see the son. Right, and of course they see Ho Jin, and they see a couple of pieces that I think I do on the show, which are quite impressive and nice. What is the trick they most liked from the entire evening? Origami. And this is it's kind of, and Norbert was saying that it's kind of a lesson that sometimes we overlooked. Effects that with the right frame can be incredibly powerful. And so I'm very happy that you like to see me doing origami.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes. No, it's the truth. I mean, it's really good. Yes, I also have one. I bought one just to have the pleasure of taking a look at the details, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and you value the way things are thought and built.
So many details,
and the reliability, as we were talking about,
of course, yes,
of your products before, and now that is so important in the magic world, and we all should be thankful that you put that amount of energy and drive and talent and vision. So thank you in public.
Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you very much. And Miguel fit in the origami. He went into my house and he fit there.
Good.
So you're very flexible. So, do you prefer, now this is, do you prefer to make TV or to prepare a live show? They are different pleasures. Totally different.
Totally different pleasures. Okay. I think they complement each other just because they complement me. I love to work on a new TV series, and I love to work on a new show, and I love to perform on TV, and I love to perform live. I wouldn't choose one to forget. If I was forced to choose one, probably I would get rid of TV.
Okay.
Not because I want, but because I think that the world has changed, and the way TV is done nowadays, and the way TV is watched nowadays, doesn't appeal that much to me. But yeah, recently we did the Saturday nights on a live show, and we were doing amazing rates for the Channel One, and the way I rigged the system in order to get the most out of me is by elevating the challenge, the goals that I was telling before. Yes, it's going to be 100% live, and this gets me excited and turned on to make the best.
Of course. Yeah. So when is your next TV show? Do you have something in mind? Because now you are more into theaters and touring around the world.
Yeah. Well, and
do you have something in mind, or
I think there are three things that define whenever I do a TV series. The first one is if I have a new idea for a TV series or a new frame for it. Because when I look to the TV series I have done for the past 30 years, they were fundamentally different. I don't want to do it like a sausage machine.
Yeah.
I want to do it when I have something new. Okay, now I would like to experience
something fresh.
This. So that's one thing. That's one desire. The other thing is that it needs to fit the moment. Right now, it's growing in me. I think I would like to do a TV series now. This is the second one. And the third one, the two previous ones, they need not only to be in sync, but also on that moment needs to be someone, some executive at the TV station that thinks is a good bet, that TV show. So it's not something I can decide on my own. And all of this, all the variables have happened in the past. I have been ready with the first two, but the guy in charge didn't like me. Or the guy in charge said, "Oh, we would like a TV," and said, "Nah, I'm not ready now. So it needs to be. It's a combination of factors in order to at least guarantee that the result is going to be the best we can do.
Of course. Okay. Now, something that's sticking in my mind that I watched in one interview was that BBC wanted to hire you, right? And you told me, yes, of course, you want to hire me. Very good. I'm here in Portugal. You are welcome to come here to visit us. So this only to explain your type of mindset, because the normal magician will say, oh, really? Give me, I'm going to go right now. But you said the opposite. You say, I'm here in Ancião, so please come here, and if you want to have a meeting with me. So do you think, what led you to have this type of response when I'm 100% sure that 99.9% of the people will say, yes, I'm going to travel to London to have the meeting with you. Why did you choose the other way around?
Well, I wanted to answer, say, oh yes, because I thought about that and it was a strategy. No. It was very organic on me. I didn't think that over. But I understand why. So there was a time in my life where I was working at university and doing TV shows. And I was getting okay. I was delivering in both areas. And clearly I could pursue the continuation of the academic life, or I could pursue the continuation of the performing, artistic, whatever life, show business. And it was very hard for me to decide till I arrived to a formula. And the formula was, okay, so I want to choose between these two options, the one that if anything goes wrong, I can go back to the other one, which is quite ambitious. But what is interesting is that once you replace the variables on this equation, the answer is very obvious. Like, if I would have chosen the academic career and in 20 years I decided I want to start show business, it's too late.
Yes.
But if I would choose the show business performing career, and in 20 years, even today, if I want to say thank you and good night and go back to the academic career, I can. That option still exists. Well, this not only helps you to take the decision on the moment, but gives you something that becomes, once you realize, very helpful. The ability to say no. Because I said, no. I chose this thing, but if I need to eat too many frogs, I can go back. So, here is a frog for you to swallow. No, I won't swallow it. And I continue. And then you do this, not out of arrogance, but out of, no, why should I swallow this frog? There's another area where I can be very happy. Now, not everything is easy, but that allowed me to learn the power of choices and say, no, I'm not interested, thank you. So I realized also, later in my career, I realized that it was very hard for me to explain what my team and I can bring to the table. The same way it's difficult to describe what is Studio 33. I can say, it's a cultural center and a theater with a library and private workshops and office. This is all true. But it doesn't sound great. Sounds very arrogant. Well, if you take the humble approach and say, it's my warehouse, also is not making justice to what Studio 33 is.
Of course.
The only way that what you understand, whatever it is, not amazing, not ridiculous, whatever it is, you can only understand once you are there. And you know it was done out of love, and it fits us, and we took every decision, and even if wrong decisions, they were there for a reason. Then we find out it should have been the other way around, but anyway, everything is there for a reason. Now, when it came in some moments where we were hired for some more demanding jobs, whether it is a corporate event, whether it is the inauguration of a stadium or a commercial center, whatever. I can go to the meeting alone and say, yeah, we can do that, and we can do that, and or I can invite people to come to our world and see what we have done, what we can do, and when we say we can do this, they go, yeah, I'm sure you can, because I'm seeing this and that. So we can immediately level the conversation to that more experienced or ambitious level, where I'm not trying to sell you the world, but you can see that, yeah, we did this, and for you, we do this, but in gold and Swarovski, and with a remote control, also with lots of lights and explosions. But this is the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, I remember that with the BBC was the case. They end up coming to Portugal. I could not believe that they came. It was very good, because from that day, the first sign of respect is when they accept to come. The person in between us was Paul Wilson, because Paul Wilson and Alex Conran were the magic consultants on that TV series created by Shine for BBC and then done in other countries. I was part of it in Spain, for example, as well, some years later. Paul Wilson contacted me for some reason. I didn't answer. Then he contacted Vanessa, and Vanessa made sure I answer Paul. Paul explained this. Make a long story short, in a few weeks, we were getting the BBC embassy in Lisbon to drive to Ancião, not to meet at a hotel in Lisbon or whatever. They came to Ancião. We showed what we can do. Immediately was an agreement at first sight. And that reflect a lot on the actual work later, because they knew that when we say this can be done or this cannot be done, or we should do it that way, or we should repeat that, we had the consideration. We had the authority that was sanctioned by the fact that they knew where we come from. And there was a very interesting thing with for example, health and safety at BBC. The TV series was recorded at Pinewood Studios, which is the European Hollywood, where they do Pirates of the Caribbean and James Bond, all of that. And I was responsible for the forfeits of the show, because it was with celebrities, and then at the end, the celebrity that loses with the correspondent magician. I was with Barry Stewart and Chris Corn. They would go through a challenge, and all the challenges came directly from my DVD, Luís de Matos Extreme. So yes, they walked on fire, they walked on broken glass, they bent metal, they stone breaking on their chests, all of that. So if you want to be respected, you need to respect. So they start by respecting me coming to Portugal. I respect them all the way through. There was a good bond. With health and safety comes the guy that is responsible for health and safety. Big thing, not only at Pinewood Studios, but at BBC, and consequently Shine producing for BBC. And I said, and he was he has worked with Paul Daniels in the past, and he said, I don't know, you need to explain how this works, because, health and safety, we are putting a 4-kilo stone on the chest of a celebrity and go with a sledgehammer and bending metal in your throat. It's no child's play. And I said, look, why don't we do it together? Let's do all of the stunts together. So we agree on early morning. I prepared everything, and my team and the health and safety guy came in, and we did all the stunts. I explained why it works. He had the experience of it, and from that moment on, there was no problem. Now, when you respect and get respect in return, comes to a very interesting situation, which was, I remember, there was one show where they were going, the forfeit was not only walking on broken glass, but they were broken glass as a step ladder going up and going down, and also on the top you go onto samurai blades with your feet. which is something that the producer thought would look cool on TV, but had no idea if it was possible.
Okay.
So they asked the health and safety guy. He looked around, and then he said, "I need Luís de Matos here." And I was called. I was in the dressing room. I went on set, and they said, "I want you to be here because I want to tell to everyone here that I only approve this if you approve this."
That's amazing.
And I looked at it, and I didn't approve.
You didn't? Okay.
I looked at the guy, and I say, "In my opinion, I think it's okay for you to approve." And he approved.
Okay.
So this means nothing, but I think those little things sometimes help building the respect that you want people have for what you do. And you will fail. I fail every day. And it's always this mixture between the ambitious and of doing it very well, and the humbleness of realizing that most part of times you get under the score you wanted to score.
Well, working with Peter Jones in that show was great.
It was great.
Yes.
It was very, very cool. I was so lucky to have Peter Jones with me, because I have pictures with Peter Jones that I will never be able to post.
Okay.
First, I got close with Peter. I got close with his driver, Mr. Miles. And I still have their phones. And on Christmas or New Year's Eve, I send a text and they reply, both of them independently. It was great because Peter and my team, we got really close. So we would, during the recordings, we look like kids. We look like, oh, let's see how we do it. Oh, yeah, but then we do this, and then we would celebrate. And the programs we won, we would, yeah. It was really nice. Because that was just, it was real celebrities in the UK. I mean, the guy that presents the historically from the beginning, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Chris Tarrant, and it was nice, but we did not high five. The Hand Ups pop group, incredible. I don't know if they, I think they went on solo careers. Security, I mean, everything. They were nice. We got close, but with Peter was completely different. With Peter was like we were pals during that series.
Yes, the idea of Shark Tank, I think it's easy because he started Dragon's Den, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one amazing entrepreneur. It's
he has a home in Portugal. I never visit. He's in the south.
Quinta do Lago. Yes. It's really. Is there any trick or concept that you have created and that for some reason you didn't perform yet?
Oh yeah.
Many or just a few?
Just a few things. A few, for example, I am a passionate magician, whatever, about the concept of what is known as the Imber Rings routine. Okay. Which, in fairness, should also be said Himber/Percy Diaconis. Linking finger rings, but anyway, that's a different story. I always wanted, and it has been part. So I have Imber rings that were built for me, designed by me, with different locking systems, different. Everything is different. In real silver or gold-plated silver by artisans, because in Portugal we have many people that are incredible craftsmen in gold and jewelry. Because for me it's one of the ultimate effects, this idea of getting something personal, which is a solid ring from 2 or 3 people, and link them, they examine, and then you give them back. For me it's the ultimate miracle. And because I love this so much, and I've studied Imber ring routines and all the routines that are published, I have studied them all. And it has been part of probably every one of my shows, at least opening night. And after opening night, I cut it. Because I was never happy with the result. Okay. And this has been probably 20, 25 years since I'm pursuing this routine. So for the last edition of Impossível, I came up with a new approach, But I promise myself two things. First, if I don't feel it stands, again, I'm going to cut it on the following day of opening night. But I also committed with the second thing to myself. If I cut it this time, never again in my life I will touch this routine. So for me, I was fed up. I was fed up of trying and not being happy. And luckily, I tried and I'm happy.
Okay.
But there are other things that I'm not happy with, but I will continue to pursue them.
Yes. I love the plot. I've seen you perform it live. It's an amazing trick, and you end up with the ring on the stem, and you give it away. It's really an amazing moment. There's a routine I love about, which is from Scott Alexander, I think. It's really good. So the ring that you have, the gimmick, is made by you, by your team, or the one that you
use? I use several gimmicks.
Oh, yes.
So basically, I wear a classifier throughout my body.
You have a classifier, so depending of the ring that really. Really?
Why? Because I have them.
How many on that? 10, 20?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
That's amazing. No average magician can have a classifier with 20 Imber rings, I'm sure. Okay. What inspired you to create your underwater manipulation act in Champions of Magic in 1995? Because, I mean, it was so cool. I mean, you are there at the bar with a cigarette, with some chicks on the table, and then you do some card manipulation there. I have one more thing to show. And then suddenly you step into water and you are manipulating underwater. It's amazing.
It was during a TV series. There's a interesting picture I have, which is I just came out of the water and I am hugging Tamaris, because he just came to do the TV show, and then he heard that next day in the morning I was doing the underwater bit, and he wanted to go there to see what is this. So when I had the idea of trying magic underwater, I have not heard of anyone doing it prior to me. Now, in full fairness, there had been one person doing it before me. And that person was David Burglas. He did underwater magic. He did his famous cigarette production underwater.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. I never saw it. And basically, when you have a 26 episode series, to fill with stuff, once you already distribute your prime creations, your favorite tricks, your okay routines, you are still missing material. So that forces you to, I know that's overused, the expression of thinking outside the box, but that forces you to to look at everything around you and say, well, could I do a routine with that? That's how my pool table prediction was invented. Was invented here in Porto at Novotel on a Saturday afternoon. Me, Juan Gabriel, and Joaquim Moreno, tired like hell, at a hotel room watching the pool table channel. And again, it's the same thing. You say, maybe I could do this, or I can do the trick of this. Really, the cool shots there. I could do a trick of that. And yes, there are many pool table predictions out there. Some of them are direct rip-offs from mine. Others are just people that didn't know and came up with the idea as well. I just claim to have been the first. That's it. And if I'm wrong, I'm waiting for someone to prove it to me. But anyway, so I need to look at stuff and say, maybe I could do a trick with this kind of sponge, or I don't know. Because you are desperate for material. You need to feel that amount of it's overwhelming. And I thought, maybe you could do it underwater. Yeah, why not? Because in Spanish, there is an expression that could apply to this podcast. Okay? And the expression is, es que no se calla ni bajo el agua. And in English would be like, it doesn't shut up even underwater, which that's me. That's why my answers are very long. Sorry. Anyway, And I have heard this many times in my life. Es que no se calla ni baja el agua. So it gets there. It gets in your brain and say, okay, why not baja el agua? Let's try it underwater. And so then we try with stuff. We try
Plastic cards, I assume, for manipulating.
plastic cards. We tried normal cards. They are okay for the first take. Feather flowers look amazing underwater. I never did anything with feather flowers, but that's the best look of feather flowers. That like they never looked before on any stage. It's underwater. Mirrors, great underwater. And so I did a lot of research on underwater magic, not by seeing videos or research on books because nothing was done till then. And the only thing I didn't know was burglars, but by taking boxes of props and elements and materials and spending time underwater filming. How does this look? Oh, SpongeBob looks great. Oh, cards stay floating. Oh, silk is beautiful. Oh, feather flowers. Oh, mirrors. Okay, does mirrors work underwater? Oh, beautifully. And then I did that routine, and again.
And the Grand Illusion as well. You made two assistants appear.
Yes. And then the way I got booked on that show for 2 times, the ABC specials. Champions of Magic from Monte Carlo, it's a consequence of the way we started the conversation. It's because I met Gary Ouellette, thanks to James Demare. It's because and then later he included me on some of the specials. I don't know if out of selfishness for us to spend time together or because he thought that would be interesting. Some of the things that we did were interesting because, for example, the levitation on the beach of Monte Carlo that we have
amazing.
done,
that's
like making Princess Stephanie appearing in the Japanese gardens, stuff like that. Because this was interesting because there was this incredible complicity not only between me and Gary, but also me, Gary, and Kent Weed, which was the director, and Gary Pudney, or just the big producer. They have just appear with the sunglasses and the cigar to overlook and to be the producer. But the actual guys working and having the creative ideas was Gary and Kent, and I became close to both of them. So, like we have in this expression in Portuguese, the one diz mata, what diz fala. The one, so in English would be some. I don't know if it sounds good, but if I say kill it, you go take the skin off.
Right.
Like it makes sense in Portuguese. Anyway, so this to mean that we would build on each other's ideas.
Yes.
So that was exciting to do.
It was not amazing. I mean, you coming from Portugal and travel to be on this huge TV show with all these amazing stars should be overwhelming. No, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's like a dream, right? I
mean, absolutely. But every day is a dream. Every day is a dream. Yeah. I used to say that if suddenly my life becomes a hell, of course I will not be happy. But I ask my friends to remind me how happy I have been already, which is probably, for the average person, 2 or 3 lifetimes.
Right.
And I think we need to be humble enough to recognize. I think the result of what we do is a mixture of 3 ingredients: talent, work, and luck. It doesn't matter what is the combination. People with this triangle can have success. If you have 0 talent but you work a lot and have luck, you will make it. If you have 0 luck but you have talent and you work a lot, you will make it. So any 2 will be enough to make it. But the best is a little combination in whatever measure. I know that in my case, from these 3 things, the only thing I'm sure about is that I work a lot, and I am lucky that I have pleasure doing it. So yeah, I work a lot, but I enjoy every minute of it. Yeah. And then maybe on some moments of my life, there was a sparkle of talent, and sometimes in my life there was a sparkle of luck. But yeah, I think it's a combination of these 3 things.
Yeah. Do you sleep a lot, Luís? Or
no.
Like 5 hours, 6 hours?
5, 6 hours. Yeah.
Do you work at night or normally you
Yeah,
wake up early or?
Yeah, I wake up early. I wake up every day at 7:15,
Okay.
and I go to bed at 1 o'clock, 1:30, sometimes. Anyway, but i- in the old days, I would go to bed, still wake up at 7 or 7:15. I would go to bed probably at 4. Now I go early. Now I go
Yes, great.
at 1.
So to wrap this up, I think if you had to just to teach one lesson to the next generation of magicians, who like first, it's very hard to accomplish what you have done. We were speaking about this early in the morning. It's almost impossible. I mean, what you have accomplished, everything that you have accomplished, all those American TV shows, the Portuguese TV shows, the live shows. I mean, it's almost impossible someone to replicate in the future what you have done. I think it's.
I think the secret is on the verb replicate. I think people need to find the area that they love. They should try and be honest with everyone involved, but above all, be honest with themselves. Be curious. Be respectful. Learn what others have done. Study. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in magic, is that there are not enough people studying what has been done before. And the consequence of that is that they are very happy with something they invent, not knowing that 50 versions of that have been invented 300 years before. Now, I'm not saying that these people are doing anything wrong. What I'm saying is that the talent, the thinking, the vision that they put into inventing something that they did not know was invented 50 times 300 years ago, if they start by trying to learn what have been invented, they would come up with something incredible, because they would still be fit with the means, with the intelligence and the creative spirit and the genius, but now they are building on top of something. And if we build on top of what has been done, chances are that what we accomplish was never accomplished before. Otherwise, we are only reinventing the wheel. I am sure that since we start talking, many newcomers to magic have invented double lift. And they are convinced that they invented double lift. Absolutely convinced that they invented the double lift. It's almost unfair to tell them that they did not invent that. So I think that's another problem regarding the perception of magic. We need to look more outside magic. We need to make magic more contemporary. We cannot continue to do, and I'm giving this very rough, bad example, just to make a point and not offend anyone, but I cannot create an act where I make appear VHS tapes, because chances are that no one knows what that object is. Exactly. And just because there is a very good method for folding square shapes with an elastic rubber band inside, and we can fit 20 in this space, that does not make it a good trick.
Right.
Okay? So I think we should be stepping up the game.
Yes.
We need to compete with other forms of entertainment. We need to compete with other art forms. But for that, we need to do the homework. And the homework is study and get out at night a little bit more. We tend to replicate. And I've been there. I'm not saying I'm special. I have been there. Because when we start, it's like babies. And you have experience on that. Mm-hmm. If they never look around and see us walking on 2 legs, they would never try to stand up and walking on 2 legs. They will always walk on 4.
That's right.
But because they look around, they go, oh, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And they try. So when we start, anyone starting, naturally, they are going to try to replicate.
Of course.
Try to take the
In
short
the beginning, yeah.
in the beginning.
The beginning.
And then you need to step up the game, which is a jump that not many people do. But I think it's because they don't have pride or shame. And the simple trick is, instead of finding inspiration in magic, find it outside magic. You do not see painters visiting art galleries in order to get inspired for their next paintings. You don't see authors reading other people's romances in order to create a story. Well, some yes, but in general. Sorry. So I think we have great tools. You manufacture great tools for us. There are amazing systems. So let's look outside magic and see what excites people nowadays. What is the language? Do they get excited that we produce a bouquet of feather flowers? Do they get excited that we produce VHS tapes? Do they get excited? What is proper of today?
Of course, innovation is very important in magic.
And that is the language that being always ahead of the humankind, as magicians are, because we can make things that people dream to happen, but science did not have time yet to make them possible, so we can fake them. So yes, they see us doing stuff that they dream about, but then for some reason, we just keep there. And that's why when you go back to the Westcar Papyrus and you read the descriptions of the tricks performed on that little show, they are still highlights of the show of many magicians 5,000 years later. Something is wrong here. And it's okay if we do it as a tribute. Oh, let me show you what was done. But usually it's not that. Usually it's just because it's good enough. It's good enough to get the applause, to get paid. Let's move on.
Yes, which is a shame. Which is a shame. I think that musicians should try to be more innovative, like you do, because otherwise we are always working on the same thing. We're always doing sponge balls, right? And
and that comes along with someone that does sponge balls in a completely innovative way.
And there is
great, yes,
but,
very nice, but should not be the common thing. Should not be the normal thing. Should not be. And I think it's very easy to say some of the things I'm saying after I've walked the wall till now, having go over some bumps in the road and slam my face against the wall. So the best thing I can say is that be curious, learn stuff. You will end up using somehow. And if you don't use it in anything, it will help you understand others. And whenever you need something, they will feel the respect because you know exactly how hard it is to do that or how easy it is to do that. So that's, be curious. I think that's the best thing.
Perfect. Luís, thank you so much.
That's it?
2 hours. I think
that was
we could
episode 1.
Yes. I hope you come back.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I will have like tons of questions for you.
Okay.
We'll stay here forever.
We can do it next time. We can do it at the studio. You bring the things and we do it there. So
we have a deal.
Yeah, sure. And
Thank you so
in
much.
that way, it's different.
Thank you, Luís.
Thank
it was
you very much.
a real pleasure. Guys, see you
Pleasure
on the
was,
next one. Thank you
pleasure
so much.
was mine.